and thank you very much for coming in. This must be a tough evening for you, Jesse.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a shock. I mean, it's no surprise. Everybody knows the type of actor Alan Thicke is, and luckily, my family and his family got to be pretty close, and it was definitely a shock. And my condolences go out to Carter and to the whole Thicke family for sure. It's a very, very tough day.
We've been talking here in the newsroom about what part of his career each of us think of first when we think of him. What is it for you that before you started working with Alan Thicke, what did you know about him?
I mean, I definitely grew up on Growing Pains like a lot of us did, so I definitely followed his career through there. And then, I fell off of Dad's career and onto his son's career. I mean, I was a big Robin Thicke fan as well, but, in the past few years, we got to work together on a number of different shows, actually both Alan and his son, and became pretty good friends. And more than anything, I got to see how wonderful of a father that man is. He's definitely inspired me, a guy with sons, myself and himself. It's just really nice to see how much love he puts out to them. It's pretty inspiring.
We're on this most recent movie of his, that's why the two of you were in Whistler, but you worked on other projects with him as well?
Yeah, that's right. We also worked on a TV show called Tiny Plastic Men that we produced in Edmonton and had 4 seasons with Super Channel, and he played a very fun character in that show as well. It's actually season 4 of it, which hasn't been released yet, but it's coming out as well. So I guess a couple of shows that haven't been released with Alan are still in the wings, and it'll be pretty special to see.
One of the fascinating things about Alan Thicke is how successful and talented he was in so many different ways. So he was a talk show host, and I know the show in the States wasn't perceived as having done very well, but the version in Canada did. Obviously a comic actor, but also a musician as well. What sort of talents, you talked about him as a parent, but from the artistic side of Alan Thicke, what sort of talents did you see in him?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the music side was something I resonated with for sure. I mean, actually, in the tail credits of "It's Not My Fault and I Don't Care Anyway," one of his original songs plays as the credits go up. But I mean, he did so much music for so many different shows, and a great writer. And him and I have talked a lot about different projects that dealt with music, and for sure, I think we had an affinity for music collectively. It was a lot of what we talked about.
You're not old enough to remember this, but when his talk show failed in the United States, Thicke of the Night, and then he re-emerged as the star of a sitcom, I do remember that a lot of people were very skeptical. They thought, like, look, come on, just walk away from the business. This is not what you're good at. And he won over the hearts of so many people because he was so successful. And throughout it all, he was able to laugh at himself. And earlier in the hour, we talked to Tom Power, the host of Q, who said in an interview with Alan Thicke that Thicke said you can either be an icon or a punchline. He just won the Icon Award in Whistler, where he was there with you. Yeah. But later on, he said, you know what? Sometimes I've been both. So there was that very endearing, self-effacing part of him, being able to make fun of himself. You must have seen that working with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, whenever Alan walks into a room, regardless if he's 20 minutes late, right on time, he just captivates the entire audience. He's just, it's not him on screen and on camera, it's him all the time that just glows with energy and love. And you're right, he's easy to make fun of himself. He doesn't take himself that serious. And he just lived life, and it was contagious. And I think everybody that worked with him and everyone around him felt that and probably grew from that.
Jesse, we just have a minute left, but for those of us who didn't have the privilege that you did of knowing him, and certainly not of working with him, what should we be thinking about tonight?
I think the biggest thing is, I mean, I'm watching the Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds, and I've done it myself too, when a celebrity passes away and we just pass hashtags or maybe say some things to our friends. But thing to remember is, I mean, this was a man with family that loved his job, loved his life, loved his home, and he just, he resonated love and happiness and positivity and optimism every single time I saw him. He was a great guy to know, and definitely someone that I will never forget.
And so nice of you to come in tonight in these circumstances and talk to us about it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you.